So, dear participants, dear colleagues, dear friends, before I start, I would like to invite you to think about those things you are taking with yourself back to your work on global citizenship education in your communities, in your organizations, in your countries, in your neighborhood, where you are applying methods, tools to change minds, hearts, and guts. I have to do that, okay? So because when we do the summarizing part, we will ask you, those who decide, to share that, what you are taking with you, with us. So I will first try to summarize what happened yesterday. Sasha Kroneger will share with us the first summarizing of the morning workshop. And if I asked kindly René to have a short, reflection on what was the outcome of the last workshop we just did. What we are going to try to do is that that's what is being summarized. We are going to distill in a form of a letter to policymakers, to decision makers, that we will share that afterwards with all of you to comment, to improve, and then the letter will be sent out as a result of the today conference we just had. So if I jump into the what we were doing yesterday, let us remember what the policymaker, the decision maker, the Minister of Education, Dr. Simona Kustet, said to us. She was saying that regardless of who we are all on the same ship towards the best possible education. It is going to be the reality that will speak in favor or against what we put on the paper. Her message was also that we as practitioners from NGO, that we will tell the politicians what to do to put global education in action. That's her word. And her appeal was to let us try to speak concretely and on the basis of the facts we have already on the paper. So we can translate that political message into our favor as much as possible. But she was also emphasizing that we are standing in front of historical challenges. Important is knowledge based on human dignity, solidarity, participation, respecting peace and growth. Knowledge will save us. But that immediately triggers the question, is the knowledge we share worth saving? But this is, I think, an issue for another conference. I'm really sorry. In Riley's greeting at the beginning, he also asked a question: how can I serve the planet? How can I serve to my peers? How can I use the resources I have at my disposal the best possible way? And these questions are legitimate questions of how to provide a service to community, to what we are doing for the future in a responsible, just, and equal way. And when Vanessa shared with us the insight into addressing the wrong assumptions that global citizenship education is addressing, and she was pointing out that all three denials we are still suffering, or we are actively use to avoid hard questions and to find solutions or the right answers on those questions, is that we are still in phase of dealing with the same world little changed in the last decades, but the challenges persist around us that we have to have in mind. Then, in the reflection panel, we identified several issues that we need to work on. If people have difficulties to change, how the systems can be changed, how to overcome the mental block. We know that making a change is difficult, and we need the resources to do it. But are we those who are finding the solutions that are already there, or are we innovate? Or do we have to innovate them as such? And the next point was that changing perspective of understanding ourselves, I am because we are, that's what we heard yesterday, is a concrete measure to dissolve the atomization of our social dimension we have in today's world. On the other hand, we know that education is a never-ending process. We need to adapt the formal education systems to the changes needed, and because in formal education we are still using traditional approaches, we lack of appropriate teaching formats, the curriculum formats, and here reminds our work. That was the message from the North-South Center, what we have to do. Then the following panels brought to us that we need to reach the critical mass. We need more awareness raising. And in addition to that, we pointed out that the advocacy, awareness raising, and education have different goals and they use different tools. We have to be aware of that because we need all three of them if we want to reach critical mass to instigate the change we want. And we appealed in our discussions to be more concrete. We have to focus more on concrete action. We appealed for turning our assumptions into collective action. The collective action, this collective attribute was coming up several times. So reaching across the table to the others that are following the similar values that we do. And it means also organizing or reorganizing ourselves as a global citizenship education community. We need to think broader and above the social networking created bubbles and so on. We have to know whose minds we are changing and for what purpose we are doing that. So this is, we have to put more into research, into practices, exercises to find out, the way to the hearts and guts, as we were saying. And remember what Vanessa's graphic metaphor of mycelium that is needed for ecologically and economically just world. The basis lies in a set of, as she put it, cognitive, affective, and relational justice. And we know what all of those parts bring with them when we are thinking about the educative formats that we would like to bring to people, to youth, in this lifelong learning journey we are all in. And we are also aware of the current political reality, and we have to have in mind that our collective action has to be created and developed in a way to avoid either irrelevance, either impossibility. The point that was made by Renee yesterday. We have to, when we know it, we can avoid it. This trap of falling into response that is telling us it's impossible, it cannot be done. You can imagine, how many times people who are hearing this say, it's impossible, you cannot do it. It can be done. I know, I'm sure that everybody of us has a personal experience that when we were told it cannot be done, and at the end we succeeded to change it. Yeah, from the small things, even up to the legislative proposals that were happening. You know. And we also have, you know, it's like in Bridge 47, we achieved much through advocacy stuff that are now in official documents that are directing the institutions how to do things in the future. So we really have to, as a collective action, we have to find a way how to avoid irrelevance and impossibility. When facing an event of global consequences, the war in Europe, what I grasped out of the discussion, it's not only that we have to avoid this kind of a focus shift trap that lies in it, because we turn our attention to something what is going on. It's true, we have to be attentive to that, because it's a global event with the global repercussions and consequences. But on the other hand, we have capacity and need to maintain the big picture of interconnected and interdependent world. This is the big picture we have to have in mind all the time. So before transferring my word to Sasha, to the summary of the workshop part, I wanted to just to share something what I heard in the workshop. It's what you as in a group work did early in the morning. So it's something is that the role of elders in our society. You know, let's think a little bit about that. The role of elders. How do we treat not elders, but people of age? What is their position? How are we positioning them in our societies? You know, but the role of elders, it's an idea that brings up a lot about the social structure of our society, how we deal with ourselves and how we cherish knowledge and experience we have in our communities. The quality of learning materials. You know, it is never enough of improving the learning materials to reach the hearts and minds of people. And there was somebody said, you know, we are looking after transparency, honesty, and responsibility among decision makers. It means also we are looking that from us. We need that also from our side, you know, to be transparent, honest, and responsible. And living in times where we are facing a shrinking civic space through many kinds of instruments imposed by governments, by political decisions in various countries around the world. There is basically none of democracies that would be, what's the word, immune to that, is that we need a space of participation and consultation. We need a space, you know, this is the mycelium where we grow, where we create, where we exchange, where we work with each other, where we find our community, where we can plan the collective action that would instigate the change we are looking for. And this is what I'm taking. Those 4 points are what I'm taking with me to think about, to employ in my everyday work. Sasha, now it's your 3 words.
My 3 words.
Yes.
Zamieram mikrofon. Ja, somebody else. No, I needed to wait so it gets unmuted and so on. One more thing. Thank you all the technical team for supporting this conference. And all this work that is being, that usually stays hidden. When everything works fine, we don't see it. It's one more thing to have in mind when talking about global education, about all the work that is hidden because everything works fine. So, my time to present what I have seen from our discussions yesterday afternoon and this morning. One part is the challenges in our current situation. There are some big happenings in the world that are above our control and influence our work. War, COVID, whatever might come, things might be happening and will be happening all the time. The complex environments of multi-stakeholders. So we know that we are dealing with the environment that is very hard to predict in any way, and there is so much influence and so many people influencing it, and everybody influences it, that it's very hard to navigate, and it's on us to find our strengths and to find our points of reference to navigate in it. Lack of policy environments to support the global citizens' education. Unstable financial environment, and especially the focus on project, not on program. Lack of division of work in different ways. In one way, we can see many multitaskers in all the organizations. On the other hand, we see the same organizations doing advocacy and teaching and all the levels of work and policy level. And sometimes we have the feeling that our energy is not spent wisely enough, to be in economic terms, or to say it in the terms of what the investment is. Changes in demography, they're coming, they're here with us all the time, and we have to be aware of them. And the teachers that are involved in global citizens education are very often overworked and tired. They are trying to do their best with whatever they have, but of course there's only some amount of energy that you can put in extra to everything that you do. I would like the next slide, thank you very much. So what are the strengths of our work? We are providing the broader perspective on the world. We are the voice opening up our community, the community of global citizens education workers, is opening up, is posing the questions that are not usually there. We are combining formal and non-formal approaches. We are, global citizens education is still very, very relevant for the situation today, and there's no denying it. So people can always refer to that. We bring innovative practices into conversations. We are asking questions that nobody asks. And we build stronger and more resilient communities because of combining all the knowledges that we have. The question of elders, the questions of who can contribute to our understanding of the world. We all can, and staying with that is very important. Where do we see the future in 20 years' time? This was a bit of a dreamy exercise this morning, and what I took from it is that the future is no one's to decide. Only all of us can decide about it. And there is no one future for all. So we have our stories that are different, diverse, and we have to be aware of them. We wish for peace. We wish for development goals to be fulfilled. We wish for policy coherence and sustainable development. We wish for the dialogue enabling learning from all the sides. We wish for better connection among the people, connection with nature, being present at the present. And free movement of people and lifelong openness for change. Lifelong, not just learning, but openness for change. Openness to to be with the change, to live with the change. So building the inner resilience to stay with the change and not to run away from it. We're moving forward. So the role of global citizens education in all things that we have mentioned today is building bridges with connecting people, with acknowledging the role of each person, with global dialogue, with, bridge between tech and education, mistype, and also to foster empathy, to provoke the doubt. So to provoke people who are doubting everything on one hand, and also to install doubt in all the things that are seen for granted. Because all these things that are happening in here is we are raising the questions again. How do we see things? What is the perspective behind this? What is the hidden message beneath our communication? Maintaining awareness and consciousness. And of course, we all wish for the work of the NGOs to be recognized, to be fully appreciated, to be supported. We're going to the next slide. And what do we expect from ourselves in this 20 years' time? To educate the youth so they can make better decisions. So to support young people. Like we had this example with trash management and fractions and so on. So people started to do this 25 years ago, and now we all do it in this part of country where I live. So this is our role, to work with young people so they can do this later in their lives. Innovative advocacy, facilitating dialogue and connect the groups, the actors, increase the cooperation. Our accountability, so we do more, we show less, and identify the solutions and mobilize for change, and our consistency between our values and our actions. Because sometimes we see that values are here, but some actions may not really contribute to all these values that we have. So we go into the last slide. What do we expect from decision makers is to shift from short-term to long-term perspective, to enable the support and support the inclusion in conversations. So whatever is done, people need to be consulted, and we need to be consulted, and everybody needs to be consulted. Yeah, we know it's a slow process. Not everything is going in these ways, but if people participate, then decisions are better. Cooperate with others. We expect decision makers to cooperate with media, cooperate with NGOs, to learn, to hear, to be open for the change. To integrate global citizens education in curricula, to stay open-minded, and we expect their transparency and accountability, which are the basic stories of governance. Thank you very much. Thank you. This was all your inputs. We will work more on them before they become a part of the letter to the other people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sasha, for 3 words. I would like to ask René now for 3 minutes summary of. You will be shorter. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any great final words or something like that. But what I would like to do is I would like to thank everybody for the participation. I have to say, for me, it was quite a humbling experience to be able to hear all of these perspectives that you brought in. The diversity is across the board. And it just made me think that, the question that our conversations left to me with is, how can we stay accountable to those that pay the price of our learning? So how can we learn faster to make different kind of mistakes, basically, right? So like we said, we talked a lot about improving quality, I think, in our work, and this is important. How can we stay accountable to those who pay the cost of our learning, and how can we reciprocate by well, basically doing better our work, I think.
Thank you, René. Thank you, René. Now, when listening to us, you remember that I asked you at the beginning to think about what you are taking with you. So I would like to invite you to have the final word, sharing with us what you are taking with you back home to your organizations, communities, neighborhoods, from this conference. Anybody?
I want to thank you for organizing it. It's been wonderful to meet face to face. Now we can network in a different way that will make us do better work. So thank you. I will go home and digest the conference. I look forward to read again all the papers you have sent out and that we will receive later. I've learned a lot, so thank you so much.
Thank you for these words. Anybody else? Nobody takes...
Thank you very much for the organization and then for all the speakers. But I think the message for me to take home is that to tell people that the development education community is live and kicking from this conference. Because this is the first conference in Europe, I know, that bringing people in the room whereby we have face-to-face meeting. It actually breaks barriers, but we can celebrate that we are survivors as well. Because good number of people in our community wouldn't make it today because of COVID. They are not with us. Some people pass away, some people are still struggling. But this is a celebratory mood I think we can take further, and I hope that good number of organizations and countries will start opening up and having this dialogue in an open space whereby people can meet and share ideas. It's a great learning, and I think we all have something to take home from this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, member, for these words, humbling words. So it's where to go.
Thank you so much also from my side. It was very useful and insightful, and it was really amazing how everybody is contributing, whether we are conscious or unconscious of contribution of others, because everybody gave their little effort, so we have this, what we have now, and it was really amazing. And I also, sometimes it's very good to live with a question. I'm living with a question, so I must say, and yes, I will work on it. So it was really wonderful also yesterday when Vanessa was presenting, and she mentioned these problems of habits of beings. And then in terms of cognitive justice, I'm just thinking we are sometimes like thinking what we have into theory and how to put into practice, but I'm just thinking what's in between, what's missing link. And you also mentioned this question, mental changes that are very difficult. So I'm also in that regard, when Vanessa mentioned this cognitive justice, and I'm realizing that actually this cognitive experience is what actually is missing, because I recently followed one very interesting cognitive anthropologist who is researching different system of beliefs. And he took like some people who declare themselves as believers. So he used one method, one scientific method, to ask, so if they declare themselves as believers, so how they like describe God, what he is doing, how he is acting, and like that. So they said that like he is omnipotent, every present, he is everywhere with everybody. But then when he switched the method, then they actually described God as an ordinary person, that he's like doing first one thing, then another, and then he came to the conclusion that actually people are actually not, they don't believe, they believe that they actually, people, they don't believe what they think they believe. So that's we have an issue. So we may be in some problems, like we are dealing with these things, issue of global educations, but sometimes we are not convinced in that. So this cognitive experience is so relevant, and it is missing link. So Vanessa mentioned this healing of our thinking. So I wanted to discuss about it, but it was a lack of time. So I will go with the question and try to open discussion with everywhere around I'm going. So, and I'm very thankful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Frank?
Thanks, Albin, and thanks to everyone at Sloga for organizing this. It has been, as others have said, so important to come together. And I think that, you know, for me, there's the two things that I take away from this are really based on that coming together. One is a renewed sense of community, of this global education community that we all make and create, and we're making and creating here. And secondly, that renewed sense of the urgency of what we're doing and the importance to act and the importance to continue on with the work that we're doing. So thank you for creating this.
Anybody else?
Yes, thank you for all of you and for Sloga taking us together here. What I or we should take from this conference home, I think Mamoudou yesterday said we have to ask or to research what is the effect of the cumulative effect or result of our efforts to educate all kinds of people. And I think for the future, maybe it's necessary to exchange ideas for such research or asking this question and trying to answer it. Thank you very much all.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, so, Paola. And now we will be closing. Thank you.
Okay, I join the others, thanking a lot for the occasion, but also for the style. Really, we appreciated a lot the way, the simple way, the friendship, the way of being all together. And you are one of the main authors in this sense, Albin. Yeah, I would like really to appreciate a lot what you are doing for us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, I'm blushing. Margherita.
So thank you very much. To all of you and to Sloga particularly. I think that also our different background clarify how this the complexity that we face. So then and that we need different also competencies, different background, different experiences, and so on. This is, I think, the message that we have to take home, because, I mean, in the future, we need much more to be linked with a different kind of capacity, expertise, and in order to tackle, to try to tackle, and to try also to attract the other part of the world, because we cannot be in a bubble, but we have to positively contaminate the other sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Margherita. Claudia?
I'm very honored that I could take part in this conference, and I hope in the future we will create society where each and every person will be inspired and empowered to contribute to the society with their full potential.
Thank you for organizing this excellent conference. As far as I'm concerned, also it's one of the best I've ever attended. I really will take out of this conference, especially the denials, the third and fourth, entanglement, and the one about complexity. It gives me hope that among other global educators, I'll be doing the right thing if I go and work on topics that are otherwise considered to be difficult. It gives me this sense that I'm not just being an asshole, but that actually I'm doing some productive working on things that actually need to be worked on and challenged so that there can be hope for change. So in this capacity, I would ask you all, when you go back to your respective countries, to challenge your MPs, especially European ones, why, for instance, Article 55 is valid only for Ukrainian refugees, right? Since this thing was invoked, why wouldn't it be made available also for the many other refugees who are already in Europe? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Matej?
I would like to thank the lady on my left from yesterday who gave new meaning to my Pizza Effect project. I don't know who she was, but I think she knows. So the new pizza is the Pizza Peace Effect. So we are adding to the value of peace, and there's a peace formula, and we're going to develop through our network, Food for Life Global, the peace formula. And I would like to thank Albin and all the crew. I know it's been not easy, but it's been gratefulness. Thank you.
Thank you, Matej. Now, let me say thank you very much for what you are to sharing with us, what you are taking with you, also for all the nice words you said to us and to yourself, because without you, there would be no conference. I'm really happy that our gamble we did against the COVID and all of that, and making assumptions for months in the future. Will it be possible to have a face-to-face meeting? And I'm so glad and happy that our gamble came out with a positive result, that we were capable to host you in Ljubljana in such a big number these 2 days. We all know that for some of us the work is continuing until tomorrow. But let me now thank to Sloga team in my name. I really want to say big thank you to Micha, Romana, Patricia, and Marian, who is not able to be with us because of health reasons, but they all contributed a lot to that, what happened here today. I would like to thank Mansa Juvan, a photographer, who was putting us into historical archives. Archives are extremely important for all of us, even we don't know it, but archives are there, you know, to stay. I would like to thank Lara Castellis, who did the graphic harvest. Thank you, Lara, for grasping the essence out of our exchanges in a very efficient way. It's the way how the graphic minds are working. I would like to thank Radio Student crew, technical crew, that is sitting there around, hidden, but who made everything possible, that also people who are now with us on streaming platforms could listen. I consulted so many people that before, you know, making a program and all this stuff, that I will not name you all, but you know who you are. So thank you very much for that. And last but not least, last but not least, I would like to thank our students that helped us these 2 days also. And they showed they're quite proactive because they became part of the conference also. So I'm really happy about that. So thanks to them. Okay. Thank you all in my personal name and in name of Sloga Platform, with a thank to the European Commission that funded this conference with the help of development aid funding from Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Republic of Slovenia and the Ministry of Public Administration of Republic of Slovenia. Without their support, would also not be possible, so we are really grateful to have that opportunity. And I can only invite you now for a lunch that will be at the same place as was the dinner yesterday. We have a dinner in the evening today at Skuhna. Those who are traveling back home have a safe home back. They have a safe travel back home. And those who are staying, you know the program. We start after the lunch at 14:30 with Inka Bartoshova presentation of the Dear Meal Guide. So many of you, we will meet here and we will have a Zoom organized on the big screen just to use the space that we already have available. There is a space for networking also here around, or wherever in the hotel you would like to meet with other members of this conference, participants of this conference for networking purposes. I know that there was a lot of going on already in between, but really we should use that space and time we have available. For the Global Citizenship Education group, Concord group, you will start your work in a room called Orchidea, or Orchidea. It's available for today and tomorrow, and so I can wish you all the best in your work. As I said, thank you in the name of Sloga, Slovenian Platform for Development, Global Education and Humanitarian Aid, that you came and that we did this big exchange and discussion for the future of the GCE in Europe and wider. So thank you very much. Let's go for lunch now.